What is up, YouTubes? Let's jump in to the first traditional draft I've done of Kaldheim, and I want to speed this up just because I feel like it's more engaging to watch a video that's a bit sped up versus like watching it in real time. I mean, call me crazy, but I feel like a 45-minute video is better to watch than, say, an hour and a half video. Okay, anyway, jumping into pack one, pick one. I want to do something where I focus on the rares a bit more because I just think that's where you're gonna get your bigger value plays. Even though there's one of the better uncommon gold sagas in that pack, I take Rise of the Dreadmar because I think it works in just about every black deck, especially if we're getting aggro. Maybe it'll be that win con for us where we attack in, swing, clear the board, and then we end up with a bunch of 2/2 zombies. Could be fun, could be some synergies there. I think Rally the Ranks could also work. Like, hey, you choose zombie or you choose berserker, everything gets crazy. And yeah, I just kind of take it on a whim. The smarter bet may have been to take a creature that's a bit better. We'll see. Do I know anyone that's drafting? No. But I also think Rally the Ranks and Rise of the Dreadmar as a flavor win, like, you just can't beat it. So I also plan on maybe not playing either of them, both of them, who knows. Now I'm looking at just pure value. And I really like Litjara Glade Warden. My problem with that card is that you can only do the counter thing at sorcery speed, which either takes it out as a blocker or attacker on its own, and is really only good if you're really in a grindy game and you just have some flyer that's poking in. Just it's been a card that really hasn't impressed me. So I take Sarlf's Packmate because that card is just so stupid good. I see another one here and I think, okay, this is a decision. If I'm going to commit a bit more to black, I'll take the Blood Sky, whatever it is, Berserker. But I think the Sarlf's Packmate is a safer bet, and I just like green a little bit more than I like black currently in the set. So I take the second Packmate, and now I'm thinking, okay, wait, am I going to hard commit to a color here, or do I take the colorless options, because either would be pretty helpful, but I take the Bloodline Pretender because I really like it. If I end up in green, a lot of changelings, which Bloodline Pretender will always benefit from. It is also a changeling, which helps with certain types of removal in the set. Oh my goodness. And then looking at this pack, Broken Wings is a card in this set that has gone up a ton in value for me, especially in a best of 3. I'm going to need a copy of it. But even in best of 1, I play it in all my decks that I get it for at the right time in a draft, because I've yet to have a single game where I don't have a target for it. Flying is super good in this set, and if your opponent doesn't have flying, chances are they got at least an artifact or enchantment that you're going to want to blow up with it. Really solid card. Let me take Battlefield Raptor in case I end up with equipment or something like that. I'm tempted here to take Raven Wings or Broken Wings, but I also think Bound in Gold is just always good too. Feeling a little positive that Iron Verdict is still in that pack because, I mean, this is just solid white removal. And now white's feeling a bit more open with these really solid commons coming our way. God's Hall Guardian versus the Berserker thing. I'm not sure which one I like more, but I think God's Hall Guardian's the one I go with. And we take the Snow-Covered Forest because snowlands and stuff is no joke in this set. But yeah, right now I'm like, okay, white-green feels like it's a solid spot to be in. I just want to make sure that, yeah, I guess whatever lane I end up in is because I'm there because of the bombs. Like, we need to have value. And then opening up pack 2, I get pretty excited about In Search of Greatness. This card's just really impressed me. Like, for 2 green, even if you played on curve, chances are your opponent's like just foretelling something on turn 2. So now you're ahead because you're getting to scry and make sure you're drawing meaningful cards. But Rootless You actually works only in the white-green deck because of the God's Hall Guardians. But I just think, no, you know what? We're grabbing rares in this draft. We are trying to rare draft. I look at the Mystic Reflection because I think maybe I'll take that rare too. But I take the In Search of Greatness because I just think it's a really solid card. And if we end up with a decent amount of 2/3 drops, it helps us play a free 4 drop potentially. Like, that is huge. I mean, it's so good if you can pull it off. And then at the very least, you're just scrying 1 every turn, which in limited can almost equate to card draw. Anyway, looking at this pack, I just think Egon, if we end up splashing Egon, or we go, who knows, black green, maybe white black, whatever, Egon can be a powerhouse, a card draw engine as well. Icehide Troll, I really like. Like, I'm half tempted to take Vega or Starnheim Courser, but I just think, no, Icehide Troll or Horizon Seeker is better. The Troll is obscenely good. However, I only have 1 snow-covered land, and Horizon Seeker always provides value. So I think I just take the Horizon Seeker. And then I take the 4/2 Spider, because if you run into an annoying deck that just plays nothing but flyers, you do want to make sure you have enough reach and whatnot to deal with that. I don't think I want to main deck it off right off the bat, but I grab it, throw it in the sideboard. And right now, I guess I'm feeling okay. I'm not sure on the splash yet. I don't have much help. I got Horizon Seeker, which is, I mean, it's something. And then we're just kind of waiting to see what pops up. I would have loved for like a snow-covered plains or forest to show up in that pack. And I'm just thinking, if we splash black, what's another good card to splash that's black? Dogged Pursuit, awesome. I see Runeforged Champion make it this far. Whilst I wouldn't mind Raven Wings, I'm gonna snag that and just cross my fingers and pray. 'Cause if I get even one rune, 100% slam dunking that into my deck, and then getting Jespera Sentinel right here helps with the fixing. I didn't feel like that was a need to pick up because I'm not 100% sold on the splash yet, but I was actually really excited to get Runeforged Champion that late in pack 2, because that means the entirety of pack 3 we should have the opportunity to find one rune. Now, is that rune going to fit our colors? Don't know. Will I over prioritize that rune just because I want that synergy? Probably, but that's just kind of me. And if I'm playing for the high synergy plays, well, you gotta risk it for that card draw biscuit, which is what I'm going to call a rune right now. I'm going to call a rune a card draw biscuit. Find a snow-covered plains. Life's good. No complaints there, because when you get to pick up a snowland and not really miss out on any other value play, that's like the perfect way to maximize your picks in a draft. And that was one example of it. Seeing a second Vega here, though, makes my heart hurt a little bit, because I'm just wondering, is white-blue really that open, or are people really undervaluing it? I don't know. And then boom, pack 3, pick 1. Oh my goodness. Starnheim Unleashed is an obscene bomb, and I am eternally happy that it's in the colors that we're currently drafting. That's a card I'd probably splash because you can foretell it and only need 1 white to then cast it. But the fact that it's in our main colors, life is good. That next pack, though, not all that exciting. I take Doomscar Oracle because why not? Now here, I would normally take Spirit of the Elder Guard or Struggle for Skemfar. But because we got a rune and it's in our colors, I'm like, I am not passing this. I'm 100% playing it. Now I get to play Runeforged Champion. GG, thanks for trying. Now here I take Blizzard Brawl, which feels a little greedy, because if we don't end up with at least 3-4 Snowlands, I'm probably not going to play it. Because thankfully I've gotten a decent amount of interaction thus far. Now I start getting a little torn, because I need more creatures in the deck, but we've just got like a really premium card with Struggle for Skemfar here. Doesn't hurt to have a combat trick either, like Mammoth Growth, so Elven Bow's also not too shabby, but like last second I take Struggle for Skemfar, and I think that was the right pick, because I think I needed at least one more interaction card, plus it having Foretell. That's like really underrated just as a Foretell option. 1 green, what ends up being 3 total mana to pump your creature and remove probably a bigger threat on their side of the board. I'd say rather worth it. Now in this pack, I think I take the 4-drop because of the In Search of Greatness. It just gives me another option to ramp into that. Once I have my 3-drop on the board, it gives me a 4-drop I can hopefully play for free. Will it happen? No idea. Yeah, really not sure. I feel like I'm alright at this point, so I take the Snowland, the white-black Snowland, because if I end up wanting to splash black, need a 3rd Snowland, that's an option. But yeah, that's like a Hail Mary. I feel like I need at least another basic before I go that route. And just the rest of these picks are, like, they're fine, but nothing's really making the cut. I feel like we've found our deck, and overall, I'm rather happy with it. Gotta make a couple cuts, and yeah, I mean, like the black tap land doesn't need to be here. The other thing that I'm kind of chewing on is my curve is not all that low, although this set has been a bit more grindy and value focused, so I'm not super worried about it, but I want to see where am I cutting, because right now, looking at the breakdown in the deck, I don't think we're cutting creatures. I want to cut probably a land and then a non-creature spell. The game plan for this deck too is probably win with flyers. I mean, that's what the Starnheim Unleashed card is good for. That's what Raven Wings is good for. And then thankfully stuff like Sarl's Packmate, it's just hard to deal with, especially if you play it on turn 3, foretell at turn 2, play it turn 3, maybe play something else. Boom, we're there. But that's our deck. Here goes nothing. I'm just hoping that we can be on the play and we can not have to mulligan too much, right? Hopefully that's not too much to ask for. Oh my goodness. Oh, we got to be on the play. Like, it makes my heart happy. We're only playing 16 lands, so I'll keep the 5-lander because we also have a card draw card in hand, and I mean, it's a little greedy, but we're there. I also forget to change my avatar, which is, ooh, glad I caught it before it was too late. Now my opponent plays the perfect turn 1 play. And I think me being on the play is like the only reason I even have a shot at this game, because if they get wide, if they have a combat trick or two, I mean, we're just going to be in trouble fast. Now, unfortunately, they play the 2-1 that can attack and create a token, but thankfully, Tarlf's Packmate should be available as a big kind of wall blocker. Now, if they attack into us, I'm going to be a little nervous because that means they have a combat trick, and do I really want to walk into a combat trick right now, having no other creature I can play next turn in hand? I really, really don't. And then I see them start to play spells, and I think, are they not going to attack? And my heart just is happy. It's just happy, because now I'm thinking, okay, if they're hoping to outrace me by poking me for 2 damage in the air, we can live with that. And I've got plenty of answers right now. If they pump something or they put equipment on one of those, great. We'll bound it in gold. Life's good. We can slap this on this, card draw, find some things. I debate about attacking, because I'm like, do they really want to 2 or 3 for 1 themselves right here? Probably not. But I also don't want to risk it, because me attacking right there makes absolutely no sense. And they slap that +2/+2 card on their Raptor. So now I'm a little nervous, because there's the combat tricks. I give it double strike. There's just other ways that they could have a huge alpha strike, and then I'm in all kinds of trouble. I'm going to get a little aggressive here, though, because, well, now we can just play our Monster Guardian, and we have Snakeskin Veil to protect either of our creatures. Now, I am opening myself up to get hit rather hard this turn, but next turn, if they don't ruin everything, I'm just going to bound in gold the 3/4, and then potentially foretell Starnheim Unleashed, or play Raven Wings and just get a flyer in the air. Especially if that's a God's Hall Guardian. Red probably has the worst opportunity or worst chance of dealing with a 4/6 flyer, because I mean, it's just a really big creature, and it has vigilance, so they couldn't even do the whole 5 damage to tapped creature, which I thought they would have used on my Packmate if they had it. Of course, they could have drawn it. But yeah, here's us starting to get a little aggressive, and I'm starting to feel pretty good. Like, I'm wondering if they're just not hitting the right spells they need, which, if that's the case, well, let's keep that going, and then get in for a little damage. I expect some type of combat trick, but they don't. Great, we'll foretell our Starnheim Unleashed, and then do we bound in gold, or do I play the Bloodline Predator? I go back and forth, because I think play the Pretender, and then when I play the Angels, just name Warrior or whatever, and now that's like a 4/4 as well. But I think, hey, right now we are in the driver's seat. All we should worry about is making sure we don't get blown out of nowhere, like they could do with their 3/4 flyer. Let's lock that up. Hopefully close this game out sooner than later. When I see them play Vault Robber, I think, okay, that's also a really, really good sign that they probably don't have an answer for what we're doing, because I mean, it's a 1/3, and they're kind of on a clock because we're swinging for 7, with 3 of it being basically unkillable and 4 of it being trample. It's just all kinds of bad times for them. Thankfully, I think Raven Wings, having a creature that's going to grow, having a spell off in Foretell that's going to give us a board that they probably can't compete with. I mean, right now, unless they have the board wipe card, I don't know how we lose, and I'm also thinking maybe we keep back Starnheim Unleashed, because if they do have the board wipe card, then that's our quick way to rebuild and definitely not get caught up with. And I think, wait, we have enough stuff in our hand too. Let's just close out the game and be done with it. And let's also learn how to pay for X correctly and not completely ruin everything. Plus we can get 2 Angels and keep up Snakeskin Veil, so pretty ideal situation. Like right now this is lethal. They have no way to stop us ruining their day unless they can play another creature or remove one of ours, although that's going to be borderline impossible with Snakeskin Veil here to ruin their day. But yeah, this first game, all in all, the deck played rather well. I was happy to draw a good balance of landed spells. Even though our curve was a bit higher, it didn't really seem like we played a clunky game. I'm just waiting to see what happens. Okay, Shackles of Treachery. You want to steal my Angel? Which, even if I let them steal it, I don't think it would have mattered, because they don't have enough mana up from what I can see to play the Kaya's whatever, but I just give it Hexproof and say, no, thank you, sir. And they scoop, which, you know, like, I don't know what else they really could have done there. We just had a pretty solid game plan. Now this game, coming up, I'm thinking, do I sideboard anything? Blizzard Brawl could work, because for only 1 green, we could have one of our bigger creatures certainly eat one of theirs, even though it doesn't have the whole +1/+0 and indestructible potential in our deck. But instead I think, you know what, let's just swap out the 2/2 that's all about being aggressive, and we'll put in the 4/2 Reacher, because if they have the 1/2 flyers, that can be really annoying for them. And then I feel a little bad that they that they have to take a mulligan, because, I mean, that's a bummer. And then I'm like, oh no, we're off to the races. They've already played a 1/2 flyer. Please don't equip it. Please don't equip it. And I'm just thinking, what do I do? Do I play In Search of Greatness? I think I do. And then I forget that it doesn't allow me to count it as a permanent. It's only like other permanents that you then can add one to and play that card for free. So I think, okay, next turn, what do I do? Oh, fine. Find a 2-drop, play this, get a 2/2. Maybe that stalls them on the ground a little bit. And then next turn I can play the Recluse for free, which is kind of cool. And then I still have 3. If I can hit my 4th mana, I'll be probably really happy. Seeing them do this, I have to discard a card and draw 2 just to draw some cards, and then they only attack for 1. I'm just really surprised there. If I'm them, I mean, you're behind on cards, so it's really hard to say you should just attack. And if we have a combat trick, which we showed them last turn, then they get really blown out. So I guess I can't blame them for not attacking there. But here I'm just thinking, I'm going to really have to play bad to lose this game. Just because we're so ahead on cards and everything in our hand is gas. Although we are missing our white land, but hopefully In Search of Greatness will help us find it here sooner than later, because we're soon not going to have anything to ramp into. We're just going to be playing it for the scry. We put the Rune of Might on the 2/2, which I realized this could have been a huge mistake, because if they like Frostbite that in response, bad move. I could have also been more patient, played Raven Wings, and then played the Rune on the Raven Wings. Not the worst idea in the world, but I'm also just a little shocked that I've yet to find even my 4th land. You know, like that's no bueno. But hopefully In Search of Greatness we'll find it. Do they do anything? No, they foretell something. And they play a 2/1. And I'm thinking, okay, is this now? Do they get aggressive? Do they give it haste and attack? Nope, they just poke us for 1. And I think there's just no way we lose the race, because we're going to be playing way bigger creatures and have a way to make them able to get in their way, so to speak. So I pump the brakes for what I'm doing and set up my turns for future value, which a lot of this format is about, is just finding the most efficient way to win as quickly as possible. But that doesn't always mean adding to the board consistently every turn. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you got to invest that mana into foretelling. Find a land, which I'm pretty happy about, because now I think, do I just do double Angel again? And I think, yeah, like they have 1 card in hand. Even if it's the steal your Angel card, they can't also then have a combat trick. So if they steal my Angel, I'll let them hit me with it and move along. And then hopefully the rest of my creatures can just eat all their other stuff. Put that on the bottom, because I think it'd be nice to find more interaction, like Bound in Gold. Now I'm also wondering, do I play a creature out or do I keep up Broken Wings? And my thought is to keep up Broken Wings, because if they steal my thing and pump it, I'll bite that bullet and get rid of it. Or if they pump up their own Battlefield Raptor, I'll get rid of it. Or if they try and Bound in Gold my thing, I can get rid of it. You know, like that just gives us the best flexibility. Plus we have 8 flying vigilance in the air, 8 power that is flying vigilance in the air. So we have them on a clock. Everything is fine for us. They draw another land. I feel bad for them. But right here, it feels like definitely our game to lose. And there's very few draws that I can imagine get them back in this, especially with us having a hand full of still very playable creatures. So let's kind of wait, see what they're thinking. Hey, they find the other shackles, tremendous. But they attack. You just do some quick math and realize we win, which is nice. It's nice to win. Good to start off the traditional draft with the W. I get rid of their Broken Wings, or I cast Broken Wings just to get rid of the 1/2, and then see if they want to scoop the 4 damage. Nope. Great. They done. Moving on. GG, my friend. Best of luck in your next matches. And then on to match 2, and oh my goodness, I feel like it's my lucky day to get to play first 2 matches in a row. I thought I'd never ever see the day, and yet here we are getting to play first, and my opponent takes a mulligan. Like, I feel real bad for him, but I play the Force, because if we draw the second, which we do, we get to play In Search of Greatness number 2 for 2 green. And it's a little greedier of a play, but I feel like greed is what's going to get us there, you know? And we'll keep the 2-drop on top because, I don't know, maybe we end up drawing a 3-drop next turn or something like that, and it helps us play solves packing up for free. But I'm also realizing everything in my hand right now has foretell, so probably going to play planes double foretell next turn and then go from there. I keep Batter Shield Warrior on top just because, like, you know, it's a creature, and then the following turn I can, if I hit a land, I can go like something like Sorrow's Packmate, Batter Shield Warrior play, boom, big board, life's good. Now I'm seeing that my opponent misses a land drop, and I think, okay, this is our time to put our foot on the gas. So attack, play Runeforge Champion, try to make sure I click the right thing, find our rune, and then I'm like, wait, why is it letting me play that? I'm like, oh, it lets me play runes for 1 colorless. What an amazing value play. No complaints here. Play it down, draw a card for free. Life's kind of good right now. Opponent's missing land drops again, but we gotta think, oh, they're foretelling some good stuff. And then they wipe my board, and I think, what the heck? Like, what the heck? And I think, oh, you know what's a good play to respond with a board wipe? Is 2 4/4 Flying Angels. And I can't imagine they have another board wipe. Now, do they have a bounce spell? Well, they just played blue, so yeah, they 100% have to have a bounce spell. And they've probably got another removal option, so I think, all right, let's just go to combat first. They can bounce my thing, whatever, have a great day, take 4. They're still on a 3-turn clock with just that one creature. We'll add another 2 to the board and just keep applying pressure. If they're playing Esper, they gotta have a ton of value. Like, they just got to. There's no doubt in my mind that they probably have other ways to deal with our threats, but thankfully most of our threats kill them in like a turn or 2, which is, I'm all about winning a game in a turn or 2. Them also having to spend largely this turn to just scry and draw cards, I think is great for me. Broken Wings makes me feel really good because now they have an even harder time dealing with our flyer. Now right here they probably would just eat the Packmate, but I decide, nah, let's just get rid of that and make sure, you know, like anything is lethal to them next turn. Was that the best play? I would say so, because like if they have a way to pump their thing or bounce our thing or whatever, then yeah, we're not getting in for nearly enough damage. And thankfully they do some math and realize they can't stop us. Boom, game 1 down. Now I also realize, like, they're playing Esper. They had a ton of issues when it came to mana and whatever else they were doing. And I imagine they're playing 3 colors because they have a lot of good cards in their deck. So I don't really know what to change out though, because we didn't really see much. Again, I put the Recluse in and I cut the Longboat because I just don't think that's gonna help me. Just, like, especially if they're playing white black, they probably have removal for it and or plenty of ways to just stall it out, which we're not aggro enough, I think, to really make the Longboat work in this matchup. Change the kitty cat. I'm kind of annoyed the cat, your avatar doesn't like to keep its color change between games. Like, Magic, Wizards, why does it not do that anymore? Why is it so difficult? Alright, then they play Vega here, and I think, okay, well, we should probably take that out, because they already have 1 card in Foretell, yada yada, and last thing we want to do is get behind on cards. Now, next turn, depending on what they play, we'll just slap down God's Hall Guardian, and I think, okay, they strategic planned, certainly they don't have a counter spell, and then they wait and they pause and they have a counter spell, which makes me kind of sad, like makes me all kinds of sad, actually. Then I see them play Alpine Meadow, which, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but they played black last game, which means they're playing 4 colors. Are they playing all 5? They counter another one of my spells. Now I'm like really annoyed because I probably should have played Horizon Seeker first, but I honestly did not expect to see 2 counter spells come out like that. And now I'm just thinking, probably no matter what I play, they're going to counter. Let's just play the lesser thing and see what happens. Maybe we get there and they're running out of gas. But right now I'm also feeling like, no, this is where they want to be. They seem too comfortable. Oh, look, the board wipe again. How fitting. We hit a land. That's like the exact opposite of what we need. All right, I play the 4/4. I just think, hey, fine, we'll start getting in for damage. Surely you don't have enough to stop us here entirely. Psych. More removal. Fine, I'll draw a card and do something with it. Oh, drew a land. Yikes. We're in yikes mode now. They got 3 cards in hand. They got a 4/4 on the board. It's not looking great. Okay, I'm a little happy though that they don't have like an immediate response to that. Now they're taking damage. Now we're playing creatures. At the very least, we can just gain life and maybe we deck them because we just can't do anything. And I'm just kind of laughing to myself about what's going to happen. And then they wipe the board again. And I'm thinking, oh, hold on. This is why we're in trouble, because they're like pseudo giants, pseudo control. Like, this is actually a really impressive control deck that they've built. And I'm like annoyed at how effective it's being right now. Like those couple counter spells, really helpful. The fact that they can wipe the board, smooth out their draws, find cards they need. Like, they're doing work right now. And now they've got a 3/4 Angel that definitely has me on a clock. Now, are they going to really actually pass something for 5 or more? Like, certainly they don't have something that costs 5 or more. And I think, wait, it's the giant deck. If any deck is going to have cost 5 or more, it's going to be blue-red, right? But are they just splashing the red? Maybe they have the red giant that costs 2 red and they can't play it. Just kidding. Run ashore. They get to bounce their Saga and then bounce In Search of Greatness. And at this point, I've pretty much assumed the game's over. I decide to put In Search of Greatness on top because if we need to find cards sooner than later, if this thing scries even 1 card to the bottom, it's paid for itself. If we get to a second card, maybe we have a shot. Then they play Giants whatever Amulet, and I think, wow, that is a tremendous card. We get to put Snakeskin Veil to the bottom. That's really good. Then we draw a land. That's really not good. So, not looking good. And I mean, they've got that Saga still in their hand, so if we somehow stabilize, they're just going to wipe the board again and have all kinds of value in their hand. But I think, you know what? Let's just play it out. Maybe we learn something that's going to help us in sideboarding. And if for no other reason, it just lets them have some fun, because last game, I'm sure, for them was not very fun. Now, Iron Verdict works because that thing only has hexproof as long as it's untapped. And now I realize I'm putting this Raven Wings on it in vain, essentially, because I can just equip it to the giant. It has 5 toughness, and this is essentially useless. I also realize that, yeah, like they could again just wipe the board like they do, and it doesn't wipe their board. It makes me kind of sad. Doomscar Oracle, I keep it on top. I'm not sure why. I'm just here. I'm letting my opponent play their stuff out, reveal all their secrets to me, wait and see what happens. They scry 3 to the bottom. You don't see that very often, you know? They also have, what, 6 cards in hand? Kind of bonkers. Ugh, this is ugly. I also love this Giant's Amulet. The card is so darn good when you're in this situation. Like, when you're in a creature v creature situation, yeah, life's good for you. And then for some reason, I don't scry that to the bottom, but it doesn't really matter because either creature of theirs is lethal. So we scoop, say good game. Now on to game 3. Now, thankfully, we get to play first. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I want to sideboard in to help? And I just think, you know what? No. All I need is to have a decent starting hand, curve out relatively well, and my opponent not find the like 2 or 3 cards in succession that would ruin us, which is board wipe, card draw on their end, and or that Giant's Amulet, which will ruin everything. And of course, we start with an awful starting hand, so I have to mulligan, keep 6, and I think, okay, wait, we can do this. We have turn 2 Foretell into turn 3 Horizon Seeker into turn 4, like double Foretell and or removal. Now, I'm glad they don't counter Horizon Seeker. I don't think there actually is a counter in the set for Horizon Seeker at 2. Is that right? Anyway, they're not missing land drops, so that gift is gone. They're also not removing our creature right away. I'm just wondering, maybe they're like super high value and we can potentially race them to the finish. But then they use removal on the Horizon Seeker. I'm kind of bummed, but then I also wonder, maybe that's to our benefit. Because maybe it could have been used on something bigger or more threatening. But right now I'm just thinking, okay, what's the most efficient turn? I think I go Doomscar Oracle, gain some life, Sorrowful's Packmate. Then I think, dang it, they're going to counter it again. And they do. And I'm so salty at this point. I hate Disdainful Stroke. It's my least favorite card in the set, at least against the deck we're playing. And then they play this Giant's Amulet, and I'm like, uh-oh. I think we're in trouble. Like, a lot of trouble, because I have no way to get around this thing, and I just don't know what to do. If it didn't have hexproof, maybe Because I could play the Master Scald and then struggle for Skemfar on it, but then I think they probably have bounce spells. There's no way they're attacking with it. And if this game gets dragged out, they've got way better value plays than I have. I'm kind of at a loss right now. So I figure, great, we'll just like foretell stuff. At least that gives us something to do with our mana. But I'm just struggling. I don't know what to do here. I'm at a loss. I think I have 2 draws that help us get around whatever's happening right now, which is our Raven Wings, which would just be really helpful to get our stuff in the air, or the 1/3 that when it ETBs, we can exile an artifact or enchantment, as long as we can exile a creature from our enchantment, from our graveyard. You know, the 1/3 changeling. And then I get to see Surtland and Frostpyre come out, which, like, touche. They have like 5 board wipes in this deck, which is kind of what the giant thing does. Do a little bluff attack. They're not interested. Touche to them. But they killed our Doomscar Oracle. Like, how rude, bro. And then, yeah, I mean, like, there's no point in playing anything out. I don't play Master Scald because, again, if they have like a board wipe or something, or the Giants damage card, like, they'll just remove it. And I mean, yeah, draw and land. That's never a good feeling when you're in top deck mode. Now my opponent, I'm not sure, maybe they're flooding out a little bit too. They keep playing land, which makes me feel a little bit better about what's happening. I'll play another creature. I'll pick Warrior because it's the most common creature type in my deck. Or if I find my Angel card, then I'm a happy camper. And then they play their Flying Angel, and I think things are not looking great. Now they attack. I take the damage. I'm not sure why. I don't know why I don't just play Iron Verdict right away, because it's not like they're going to tap out and they counter it. So I think, you know what? Fine. I'm just going to get rid of it with Struggle for Skemfar. And then I draw Masked Vandal. And I think, oh my goodness, I think we're going to get there. So if we just found that, do we get rid of the flyer or do we get rid of the 4/4 on the ground? No, let's get rid of the creature on the ground. And now let's start getting in for a ton of damage. Now I think about playing Master Scald here, and I don't, because again, if they have the board wipe, we are in a really rough position. But right now we are quite ahead, and they have to find a way to stop us. I also realized that they played a 4/4, and I think, all right, you know what, fine. We'll just Bound in Gold, slap it on Master Scald here, make blocking really difficult. But what I could have done was play Master Scald, because that would have triggered Bloodline Pretender and made it not eatable by their 3/4 flyer. So that was a massive misplay on my part, committing to the board and then not doing it in the most efficient manner possible. And then they play their Giant card. But then the best part is it only deals damage to non-giants, and changelings count as giants. So it wipes their board and keeps mine around, and they scoop. And I think, wow, did I win a nail biter there? Like, that was brutally close. I thought for sure I was done when that stupid hexproof giant thing came down, and our 1/3 came through in the clutch. All right, anyway, moving on to round 3. Have to adjust the cat colors. We get to be on the play 3 matches in a row. I don't think I've ever got to be on the play 3 matches in a row ever in the history of traditional drafting on MTG Arena. It just has not happened. Anyway, to the game. I have a pretty sweet hand. Thankfully, get to start with 3 land. Get to play Runeforged Champion. It doesn't get countered. We get to find our rune. We're ahead on cards. Life is good right now. I also see they kept up 1 blue. How fitting. And I think, okay, wait a minute. The only card they could really have is either the bounce spell or the destroy target tapped creature. And playing the Rune of Might onto the Runeforged Champion just feels like the riskiest play. Now granted, if they bounce the champion, when I replay it, I can grab it from my graveyard. Not a big deal. But if it's a removal spell, I think I'd rather play my other spells and just keep pressure on the board. It's the removal spell. I think, okay, great. Play down Packmate, foretell off God's Hall Guardian. Right now I'm feeling fairly good about what's going on. Drawing a land there. Great. Wait, did I draw a land? Anyway, go to draw, remove their 3/3. Now we have a 4/4. Also difficult. If they have a bounce spell, I don't think you want to bounce Sorrowful Packmate, because we had to draw a card. I'm actually surprised how often Draugr Thought Thief gets targeted at their person that plays it. I always expected you'd want to get rid of your opponent's draw that's coming up. But I think everyone just uses it as like basically a surveil. It's like ETB surveil 1. And then the fact that they use their combat trick to remove our Sorrowful Packmate, I'm not overly sad about because, you know, sure. Now, I think this line of play of playing Story Seeker and Rune whatever is was not the best idea. I think I should have just played God's Hall Guardian. Live and you learn, right? Okay. Now I figure let's get a little aggressive. We'll bound in gold, so now this thing can't block. We can attack with our 3/3 lifelink. Life is good. Let's just kind of wait and see what happens. It's white-blue. They're gonna have, you know, responses. This was not the response I was expecting, and I'm kind of happy I didn't play God's Hall Guardian now. But then I also realized, wait, Masked Vandal takes care of it no matter what creature it was on. So there you go. Now they're at 1 card in hand. I think we are in a commanding lead, and I don't know what they could possibly have. Like, we've seen board wipes before. Maybe they got flyers. I just want to win this race, and I think I do that best by continuing to commit my best plays to the board. So foretell off Sarulf's Packmate, play God's Hall Guardian, and the old run ashore. Do I want to put it on top? I think, yeah, like why not? Granted, it removes our removal from them, helps them play a 3/2. So now, like, that's a good play for them, but I don't know if it stabilizes them or like it definitely doesn't equalize where we're at in the game. So yeah, draw my God's Hall Guardian. We'll go to combat. I decide trading here is worth it because trading essentially 1 for 1 could be an advantage in my favor. And now I can play off Packmate, draw a card, foretell out a couple things, or get myself a good blocker for their 2/2. Now I've got a 2/4 and a 3/3. That's hopefully near impossible for them to deal with. Psych, they got a 4/4. That's kind of annoying. Psych, it doesn't matter. We found our Raven Wings, so now unless they have another removal or bounce spell, we're going to be able to just poke them down in the air. But we're in top deck mode, and white-blue is one of the better top deck find cards, find answers. Ugh. Yeah, these Drugger Thought Thieves. They don't put it in the graveyard, which means they found something pretty good. Now the smart play here, I think, would have been to throw the wings on the Sarulf's Packmate, because I think they either have, again, bouncing or 5 damage to tapped creature. And if they have 5 damage to a tapped creature, well, Packmate's not a good option. God's Hall Guardian's the better option. If they have bouncing, well then Sarulf's Packmate is the better option, because I have to draw cards when I replay it, and it's cheaper to replay. Then they play that awesome Cosmos card, which is perfect for Giants. You basically pay 3 mana, draw 2. I mean, it's just really good value. We get to figure out what's going on. Okay, they did have bounce. I'm a little mad at myself. I didn't attach the wings to the most efficient play in that situation, but we also didn't know what they had, so they buy themselves a turn. Great. Again, like, unless they have the board wipe or something, I don't know how we lose this game right now. And then I'm like, great, they have more interaction. Like, they've bounced this thing twice, once to my library, once to my hand. What is happening? And they bounce the old the Raven Wings, and I'm kind of bummed because now my kitty's gonna get eaten. At least we take out 1 for 1. Guess it could have been worse. Play Raven Wings down, equip it to nothing, because then I'm gonna play the boat. And I don't know why I don't equip it. Yeah. Then we top deck STARNHEIM Unleashed. Talk about a beater of a card. But in the back of my mind, I don't want to cast it because I figure it's best for me to hide my best card, at least game 1. Now I'm also impressed that they've got Gates of Istfell. Am I like the only one that doesn't draft the uncommon lands or whatever? And then they play a second Gates of Istfell. So I'm like, all right, great. They've bought themselves 2 more turns. And now I start looking at, like, genuinely looking at how many cards they have in their library, because we're at 26. We've got a decent board. I've got some removal and interaction. I don't know if they can, like, end the game in even like 6-7 turns. So yeah, we just keep poking in, doing our thing, and I'm just holding off. Like, I don't feel a need to rush out my plays when we're ahead, especially ahead by what feels like a lot right now. Now, them drawing cards and foretelling stuff off makes me a little nervous. Not gonna lie. Makes me a little nervous. But drawing Horizon Seeker here, I think great. That's kind of nice. It's another 3-power creature that I can throw the wings on if I need to. Right now, they're essentially on a 2-turn clock. And they play Doomscar Oracle, and they're going to gain some more life, and yada, yada, yada. But they're also not attacking. So draw land, not, you know, to be expected at this point. Might as well play it down, and then I figure I could play more creatures, but then I also think, why bother? Like, again, no need. Now they're playing a 5/6. That makes me a little nervous, because if they are able to wipe the board, having a 5/6 is quick enough. But also, if I can trade away Iron Verdict and my 1/1 for their 5/6, I'll do it. So I did it. It's been done. Hooray, go team. And now we just wait. Like, and I also assume if they had another creature or 2 spells they could have played, they would have played it for Doomscar Oracle goodness, but then they don't. So I'm like, all right, here we are. We're gonna play another 3-power creature. I'm gonna let them know I've got essentially 2 lethal threats on board. Here goes nothing. And if they don't draw either some type of interactive spell that's instant speed or bounce or whatever, they lose and then they scoop. So, all right, I'm feeling good. Now is the time. When what happens? When you just jinx yourself and you start thinking, ooh, I can win. I'm 1 game away from the 3-0 and getting my gems back and then some. And, you know, I just got to push those thoughts aside, because I'm very prone to just assuming the worst is going to happen now. I just assume it. And then I'm trying to, like, get myself motivated, like, just focused, eyes on the prize. We can win this. We're playing well. Life's good. Let's do it. I also like the fact that if I end up losing this game, I get to be on the play for game 3, which just always feels good. Now, I'm not stoked about keeping this hand, but also it's like 3 land with 2 pack mates, and that's pretty good. And I think I even play, like, I think I play the Pretender here and name Wolf at this point, because, like, that's as good of a reason as any. And if I play a Changeling, it still hits the Wolf creature type. Man, my chair is so squeaky today. And I think I could also play the Packmate, but no, let's play the Pretender, and then let's just kind of see what's going on. I think, did my opponent mulligan for this game? I don't remember. But anyway, they attack. I don't block because don't care. And we play the old Draugr Thought Thief, kind of annoyed. It's a good blocker for my 3 toughness things. I draw a card. I'm hoping I can hit a land, and I don't. I'm kind of bummed there, but I think, okay, right now, I look at my hand, their hand, I'm ahead on cards. That was like, is this really impatient of me? But I also don't have my 4th land, so if I don't hit it, you know, let's see what happens. The fact I don't hit my 4th land there is astonishing to me. So I think I've gone 4 draws without a land, 5 draws. But best option here, play Packmate, guarantee, borderline guarantee, that we hit our 4th land. And then once we hit that, we should be able to stabilize and life will be good. But, you know, if we don't hit a land, I think we lose, and then I'm like flabbergasted. All right, Plains, nope, still don't hit a land. I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay, well, at least we draw Snakeskin Veil. I can double block their 4/4, and then when they go to bounce my thing, I just Snakeskin Veil it, and we get rid of their Axguard Braggart. Something that's not going to help you win games, though, is you may have just noticed I had to discard 2 cards, both of which are spells. That doesn't feel good. Ever. Nope. And then the Kai's Onslaught, they're now 5/5. And I'm like, well, that's the game. I don't know how I can, unless I draw Plains here, and I can Bound the Gold, they're 5/5, but then even if I do that, I'm still taking 5 next turn. Like, I don't, all of this feels bad. Just real bad. So I decide, let's play the Lifelinker. It'll hold back the other creatures, help me hopefully hit a land for next turn, and then be able to do something and maybe just start gaining life. Like maybe I Ravens Wing it. I just don't know. So we're taking 5 here. The Story Seeker has done its job and held back the 3/2 and the 2/2. I'm really surprised they don't attack with their 3/3. And then they play the same Mythic that I am playing around. And I just think, okay, so this is what game 3 is going to come down to, is who can find their Starnheim Uprising and dominate the board. Now, right now I'm like, okay, do I attack? If I attack, that's all bad, because then we definitely lose. But I think, okay, I'll keep it back. I could Bound and Gold something, or I can set myself up to potentially get back. My wife's yelling at me that dinner's gonna be ready soon. I could think, okay, here's how I get myself back into this. Because I can give my creature flying, and then I can block the flyers and take them out and yada yada, and then they bounce my other creature, and I'm just like, no, I think that's the game. We end up finding our 6th land, which is great, and I mean, I'm like, I could throw this here, I could play a creature, have a chump blocker attack, gain some life, but I mean, I'm just too far behind at this point, kind of bummed. And I'm just thinking, if I had just drawn my 4th land even a turn earlier, I think I can stabilize against their 4/4s. Then they play that card, and I'm like, nah, probably not, because that thing tapping stuff down and keeping it locked down, quite good. Okay. Back into mental resiliency mode, which is don't blow it, okay? Don't get discouraged. Arena can feed off those emotions and those vibes. So right now, we just got to stick to the game plan. We just got to stay strong and realize we can win and do this. We've already won 1 game. We get to go first. Life's good. We get a good hand. Yeah, I'm actually pretty stoked to get to start with STARNHEIM Unleashed in my starting hand. Now I can go turn 2, foretell something, and then potentially turn 3, play Doomscar Oracle, and then foretell my STARNHEIM Unleashed. Like, that's not too bad. Turn 4, play up my Axe Guard. Like, I'd say right now things are going relatively well. Now, I probably should have foretold my Sarulf's Packmate right there, but I also think for whatever reason, if somehow they make me discard or mess with something that that's in my hand, I do not want to lose STARNHEIM Unleashed, because that is my, like, that's my win con. That's my only chance. I attack with my 3/2. They don't block with the Augury Raven. They play this tap land, and as soon as they play that tap land, I think I'm in like a really good spot here, because they don't add anything to the board. Chances are that either have removal or bounce, and either right now feels fine to me, because I can play Packmate down, draw a card, and then just keep adding land to the board, which makes STARNHEIM Unleashed that much better. The fact that it's just a bounce spell, like, to me is tremendous, because it makes sure that I'm able to replay my stuff out and just keep threatening them with damage. I think about playing that down, and I think, wait a minute, what's the best way to just end this game? And I think playing STARNHEIM Unleashed now, getting 2 angels down, is our best bet, because they just use their bounce spell, which chances are means they're not going to have as many options for the 4/4 angels. They say nice to me, because they're probably like, oh, you have the same mythic I do, ha ha ha. They foretell something out, they play a pointless ground creature, and their Shimmer Veil or whatever is white, so they can't have a bounce spell for our 4/4. Attack with the 3/2, maybe didn't need to do it, but also I'm just going to keep being aggressive, and they don't block with the Augury Raven. But right now I'm feeling really good. Now if they have their own STARNHEIM Courser, or whatever, STARNHEIM Uprising, they play a land, and then they play that. Now we're like equal in the air, and they're actually, I'd say, ahead, because they've got 3 cards in hand. I've only got 2, and they're both land, which is just not where I want to be. Thankfully though, they're hesitating for a long time. They don't do that, and yeah, like, just right now I'm just thinking, okay, we gotta stay aggressive. Draw a 3rd land. I'm just like, please, deck, don't you dare do this to me. Don't dare. But they're also tapped out, which is tremendous. I could have attacked with the Braggart and, you know, made them have to double block and yada yada. Then I play the Packmate, and I also realized I could have just won if I would have sequenced that in a more intelligent manner. Like, now's the time to choke, I guess. I don't want to play Struggle for Skemfar now, because if they have any interaction, that's a big blowout. I don't know what's going on. They got interaction, clearly. Run ashore. Really good card. I say I will put it on top because it's a token. Doesn't matter. I'm just thinking, like, what the heck? What is happening? They're going to trade their 3/3 for my Pack Beast, or Packmate. I get to keep my 4/4, which is really nice. I get to play Packmate down. Foretell that off to the side. All right, we're waiting. I'm like, now is when they play Courser. But even if they do that, we're fine. STARNHEIM Unleashed. I keep saying the wrong card name. Anyway, I just go for the removal. It hits. They say good game. Oh, that was a nail biter. Did not play that last round as perfectly as I should have, but thankfully was still able to pull out the W. Yeah, we were like a card draw away from that not working out, but really impressed with In Search of Greatness. STARNHEIM Unleashed is just bonkers good. I mean, that card was tremendous, and I feel really fortunate that even playing 16 lands, it worked out well. Got the 3,000 gems, 6 packs. That's going to do it for me, folks. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like button, subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.